Hi everybody. Today's subject is quite a bit more sensitive than what I usually do on the channel. Usually I have my kids running around my ankles and we're making cakes really, really badly. But today we're talking about breast cancer and the BRCA gene and everything that comes with it. I'm joined by my friend Elizabeth. Elizabeth, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Elizabeth Hutton. I'm the CEO of Kicks Count, the stillbirth charity, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
So this is really fresh.
Really fresh, yeah.
And you contacted me just a few days ago.
Yeah.
So it was only a couple of days after you got the diagnosis, asking whether you could come see me.
Yes.
Just to chat things through. We've known each other for a number of years because I used to work for the charity when I was pregnant with Faith, I think. Was it AJ?
No, it's AJ.
Was it AJ? Yes. So we've known each other for a while. Obviously, everybody knows that I haven't had breast cancer. I had preventative surgery because I had the BRCA2 cancer gene. Do you want to tell your story?
Yeah, I found a lump in my breast 3 weeks ago, I think. Just when I was scratching my armpit, I just kind of moved my hand along and I went, oh, that's strange. So I went to the doctor. They said, given my age, given how it feels, it's very unlikely to be cancer, but they'll check it anyway. And they did the checks, they did the mammograms, they did the biopsies, and it came back that it is invasive lobular cancer, which is quite a rare cancer, especially in younger people. It's a rare cancer anyway, but if you do have it, it's usually between 45 and 55 that you get it. My mum has previously had breast cancer, as did my gran.
Oh.
And before I was diagnosed, I didn't qualify to have the BRCA testing.
How?
Because they were both 60.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so their score, they did it based on a Manchester score, and their score together gave me a risk of 8 or something. But given that I've now got cancer, I now qualify for the BRCA testing, so I can have the BRCA testing to see whether, in terms of the ovarian side of it, and whether my sister's at risk, and obviously my daughter as well.
Yeah.
So I do qualify for that testing, but obviously that's another strand to think about.
What happens now?
Now I've started the route of I will be having surgery and then chemotherapy after that. But at the moment, the initial stages, they want to get rid of the cancer, which is obviously my main concern, as it would be with anybody. But also, given my age and where I am in my life, I'm a single mum, for me, the aftermath of that is also important to me, in terms of reconstruction, in terms of what kind of surgery I'm going to have, because at the moment I only need a single mastectomy, but I would personally prefer a double, so that they match.
Yeah, is that an option this time round?
They've said they're not saying no, but they need me to carefully consider, what is involved in having a double. Is what I want to achieve from a double actually achievable, and things like that, which for me and from a personal level, I think it is. I think that's what I want, and I haven't taken the decision lightly.
Yeah.
It's not. I haven't gone in and said, I've got breast cancer. I'll take them off. That's just do whatever you have to do. I've looked at the videos. I've read up about what's involved in a single mastectomy, what's involved in a double, all the different kinds of reconstructions you can have.
As you know, with kids, it has a knock-on effect on them because your children are 7 and 4.
Yeah.
So they are probably going to be aware. As the 4-year-old, this is where their memories get formed. I know that Faith is 4 as well, and she's taken everything in and she remembers everything.
Yeah.
And your 7-year-old's obviously going to have to deal with it as well. So you obviously know that having a single mastectomy means that if you do want another one later on down the line, that's 2 times in hospital. So you also understand that and appreciate that that's more time away from the children, more time in recovery, whereas having a double at the same time eliminates the risk of going in twice.
Because one of the things they said to me was that having a double, because the cancer I've got is very hard to detect, because it doesn't usually form big lumps. It's kind of a stringy kind, I guess. Okay. I don't know. But it's hard to detect, so I thought I don't want to leave that one there to get that cancer in that side and me not detect it. Yeah. And while they say they've caught it at every stage, you know, they've caught it at the scan, they've caught it at the mammogram, they've caught it when they've done the biopsies. Yeah, but I had to go in with it in the first place. So if it's not easy for me to detect, it kind of doesn't matter how well they can pick it up on a mammogram or how well they can pick it up on a scan. If I don't feel the lump, or I don't feel what I need to do to get me to the hospital in the first place, then what can I do about it? You know, so I would rather, for my own peace of mind, think that that's gone. Yes. And while I said this, you know, I said I want them off, I want to reduce that risk, and they've said, you know, you'll never get rid of breast cancer because your breast cells are travelling throughout your body. So the fact that I get rid of my breasts, I could still develop breast cancer in a cell that's travelled down to my
It's not exactly what you want to hear, is it?
No,
when you're processing all the information.
No, it was a big kind of shock that you know, you're never going to get rid of it. You're always going to have that risk.
Yeah, but you want
to minimise that risk.
Exactly. You want to minimise that risk, and you want to minimise the effect that it has on you, your life, your well-being, your family, your friends, and you're a very strong woman, but it doesn't matter how strong we are, something like this breaks us at some point. So you want to eliminate the risk of breaking points. When you have, if I'm going to get really, really personal, please tell me if I've overstepped the mark. When you have your single mastectomy, are they taking away the nipple?
Yes. So everything's there's a cancer right behind the nipple. Okay. So there's two cancers, one kind of under the armpit and one right behind the nipple.
Right.
And so they have to remove that nipple. Everything. And again, I think in terms of being symmetrical, that's going to be hard to match. One other nipple.
Well, but abundantly it would.
But I think it's down to, you see so many pictures, or you know, when you're looking for them, you can find so many pictures of people who've had every different kind of surgery, and that's what works for them.
Yes.
And I think in terms of me, what I want from it, I think also age and kind of your personal life situation as well. You know, maybe if I was 20 years older and still married and all this, I'd have a completely different view of it than I do now as a 36-year-old single woman.
So it depends on everybody's individual circumstances as well. Do you know what? On that note, we're going to leave it.
Okay.
Because you've been very, very honest and amazing to talk to. And I'm sure that you'd be helping loads of women out there who are going through exactly the same thing, who just don't know what to do. And also, I think a lot of women just feel that they're confused and they're not sure whether they're allowed to feel confused. Yeah. And I think that you've just confirmed the fact that it's all right to second guess everything, because everybody has to deal with it in their own way, depending on their personal circumstances. And I think a lot of women who I've spoken to in the past just feel completely lost. Yeah.
I think that's it. I think we all
feel lost at some point, going through either the BRCA gene, breast cancer, ovarian cancer. I know my grandma felt lost. It's a horrible, horrible disease. Any cancer is. And I think that anybody who watches this video can see that we're all the same, really.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
It's all right. Thank you.